Pretty early on, like middle school, I was introduced to drugs and alcohol. Over the years, drug and alcohol use was a pretty normal part of my life. In 2000, my brother had started coming to Southeast Christian Church. I came, heard the gospel for the first time, didn't do anything about it for a year. A year later, things were going from bad to worse. I thought I'm gonna give church another shot. Eventually made the commitment in 2003 to be baptized. I realized I was being led to join a church planting team in Morocco, North Africa. In 2010, I bought a one-way plane ticket to North Africa. So much excitement to get on the field, start my new life. Within a year, it became apparent I needed to come home. My mom had struggled with mental illness for several years, progressed to dementia, Alzheimer. It was a quick decline. I was able to come home for a 4-month furlough. Totally unexpectedly, I met Sean. Sean was really funny. We got along really great. I enjoyed just spending time with him. Eventually, I just had to start asking the Lord, what am I supposed to do with Sean? It just became apparent that God was inviting me to stay. I was able to go back to Morocco for a 2-week trip, say my goodbyes, wrap up everything. And then the night that I came home, Sean picked me up from the airport and drove with his family to Gulf Shores, Alabama, to spend a week there. The first night we were there, we went for a long walk on the beach, and we were coming back. I just so happened to notice this little trail of rose petals that led to a blanket, and he proposed. We got engaged that night on the beach. I was so happy. The last day that we were there, it was actually Easter Sunday. We got dressed, we all went down, attended a sunrise service, got up early the next morning, and drove home, drove back to Kentucky. And Sean overdosed from heroin that night, and I found him dead the next morning. It was unbelievable. Did I get this wrong? I was in shock. I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know what to do. The first several days were just a blur. I did what I needed to do. I sat with my Bible and prayed. My prayers, my questions were on repeat. What just happened? God was so gracious. He showed up for me every day. Listened to my same rant. Listened to me cry out with the same questions. He just met me. He met me in my grief. He met me in my confusion. And just invited me to keep showing up every day. One of the hardest parts was people seeing my engagement ring for the first time at Sean's funeral. One of the hardest parts was waiting. I really trusted God. If I didn't have a relationship with Jesus, this would look completely different. But because I do, it changes everything. It changes the total perspective. I'm still able to be filled with hope and to still have joy, to manage that tension of, yes, there are really hard things, and God is still good. I would be defeated if I couldn't. And it really just sustains me. The next year was really hard. I just kept praying. I just kept asking the Lord, show me what to do next. And it took a while because I had to heal and I had to be ready. And when I was, He provided an opportunity for me to enter my next full-time ministry assignment at a local addiction recovery ministry, a discipleship ministry called Priscilla's Place. I got a job there, and within 90 days, I was asked to be the program director. And that was so affirming to just realize, yeah, God still had really meaningful work for me to do. Serving in ministry at Priscilla's Place was God making beauty from ashes. I was really discovering the joy of my salvation. I just reread the book of Isaiah pretty recently, and there was a verse, Isaiah 12:3, with joy, you will draw water from the wells of your salvation. And I just realized there is a joy that only Jesus has been able to provide. And all throughout my journey, I can just go back. I can go back to those early times leading up to my baptism and just draw water from the wells of my salvation and say, no matter what else, no matter what happens, I have joy because I was set free. I've been shown who I am. Only in my relationship with Jesus am I completely safe. Do I know I'm unconditionally loved? When I can't go to any other well and all the other sources are empty, it doesn't matter, because with joy I can just keep going back to Jesus, and He never disappoints.